duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey shot with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut, cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
Yo, what up, folks? Welcome back. It's a brand new episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We are streaming live on our Instagram account. We're streaming on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2, also on Twitch, on the YouTube channel, and on our Facebook page. This is your boy Trey Frazier, and that's the homie Maestro Styles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's good, man? How was your week, bud?
Bud. I'm cool,
I don't know
man.
where that came from.
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. You know, never week, I guess. Another week in paradise. What about you? How you?
It's been a week, bro, but you know, I got to smile through it all at the end of the day.
For sure. And plus, we got a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah, for real. Just before we got on live here, I was noticing that Cam had apologized to Ocho Cinco earlier today on his podcast.
I wouldn't call that an apology.
Well, no, but I think it's more of a response to what Ocho had to say a few nights ago, you know, after we kind of talked about, you know, that thing that they had, you know, going back and forth there. So, you know, all's love. You know, I kind of felt like Ocho was, you know, joking around when he said what he said about coming after his spot. You know, he cleared that up, pretty much told him, look, you know, if you got an issue, you know, I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be at this time. Holler at me. And Cam, you know, just came back and just kind of had to clear the air, you know, with some stuff, and just said, hey, you know, didn't mean nothing, you know, personal about it, but you know, y'all doing a good job, but I'm doing a damn well good job over here. So just kind of paraphrasing that. So
I mean, look, man, at the end of the day, you know, Cam felt like maybe he was a little too harsh, like, you know, like he said in the video.
Yep.
And you know, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And you know, but he was still a little spicy with him, you know, little, you know, like he called him the side dish.
And a playful called Shannon the side dish.
No, he called Chad Ochocinco the side dish. He's saying
check that again. Check that again. Because he said, hey, Shannon, you're doing a great job, but you're not the main attraction.
Nah, I'm pretty sure you should check that again. He's saying that Chad Ochocinco is the main attraction. Everybody there for Shannon Sharp, and you he Batman and you Robin. You like the nigga on this other side.
All right. Yeah, I'll double check that again. I'll double check that. But I thought he said, hey, Shannon, you not the main attraction. But okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You know. Hey man, it ain't really. Look, we gotta get to the shit before I guess come on. I know you wanna.
Yeah. One of the DMV Baltimore's, you know, finest when it comes to radio hosting for a number of years here in the area. April Watts, who's doing a whole lot of, you know, party planning and, you know, doing her multimedia thing. You know, she's gonna come on with us and, you know, kind of talk a little bit of boxing. We had a fight over the weekend that we're gonna get into. I know you want to get into that as well. I certainly watched the whole fight live, so I definitely got some things to talk about there. And then you know, we'll get into some other stuff, you know, in regards to her radio career and, you know, things like that. So also a good friend of Liz Robbins, by the way, too. So I just wanted to
shout out to Liz.
Throw that out there too, since Liz is, you know, a regular on the show here. But yeah, we got.
Let's quick topic. Well, let's quick topic then, real. We can quick topic then.
Yeah, let's start locally here. Deebo Samuel traded to the Commanders. Your thoughts, sir?
It's good trade. I mean, you know, I don't know. $15 million is what they got. The Commanders got to pick up.
I think so. I think
trade.
So, yeah.
I've heard a Commanders fan say that they still feel like they need another receiver for the sake of route running purposes. Like we don't peg Deebo to be like a great route runner.
Mm-hmm.
We pick him as more of a kind of gadget guy. But even though he's probably one of the best in the league at it, so they still feel like they need it. But this is a good pickup. There ain't no other way to slice it. It's a great pickup, as a matter of fact, for the offense. To try to shake shit up. Like I think they, when they want to put focus on Jaden Daniels and what he does, it's good to have a guy like that to kind of switch the focus up and have other things to think about. So Deebo Samuels is definitely one of those weapons where you're gonna have to think twice about how you play him, how you guard him, knowing where he is at on the field at all times. So this is a good pickup. This is a good pickup.
Yeah, I like this for the Commanders, and I don't think they're done yet in regards to free agency and more potential trades here. But
one of the highest salary caps this year.
Right. Exactly. There's still more money to be spent with the cap, and the cap is going up as it does every year. So they're going to have a lot more money to play with. This is going to be a problem for opposing defenses when you look at what Terry McLaurin can do on one side. And then a guy like Diami can do, and then Deebo's going to be, in my opinion, he's going to play that slot role, and you got to account for that because not only is he going to be able to make plays in the open field, but he's going to get physical with you. So, I saw this tweet the other day, and this appeared to be, matter of fact, it didn't appear. This was from an Eagles fan. I don't know who this guy is, but he kind of applauded the Deebo trade to the Commanders, but then at the same time, as an Eagle fan would, was like, look, that they're not making up 30, like he's not 32 points. He's not making up a 32-point difference. And he got that 32 points from the final score of the NFC Championship game. And it's like, yo, I hear you talking, and you an Eagles fan and all that, and that's the rivalry and that's cool, but that ain't how football works, bro.
Look, obviously, there's not about to be, obviously, right. Like I get what you're saying. I get what, because it don't work like that. But at the same time, you got to at least acknowledge that. You got to at least acknowledge that. Sorry, I lost my thought getting distracted right there. But you got to acknowledge the fact that the Eagles are still the better team because of the trenches, more so the trenches, offensive, defensive line than anything.
Absolutely.
So I get the point. I feel like I get the point he was trying to make is like Deebo Samuels is not going to be able to circumvent that. But that's not a good. That's
but
not
the
a good
lack of a Deebo Samuel is not why the Commanders lost. They lost because of two things. You mentioned one of them. It's the trenches, number one, and number two, turnovers, fumbles. You can't turn the ball over if you're the Commanders. So
and if you're being all the way honest, it's closer. And if you're being all the way honest, I know Commanders fans ain't gonna like this. Right now, they're just a better team. That's not to say any given Sunday you can't win a game and all those things. But right now, when you look at roster to roster, Super Bowl champions, obviously, those things, this more experience, this is the better team over the Commanders. Deebo Samuels is not going to, change that.
Right. And it's not like you guys can't beat them. The Commanders, they've proven, like I said, any given regular season, they can beat the Eagles. They can. It's a division rival. They know
definitely
each other's tendencies.
Now, to be clear, they beat it with Kenny Pickett.
I get that. That defense was out there too. So
but also Kenny Pickett was out there. Like that changes the dynamic offensively.
I get it. I get it. Kenny had no turnovers though, so that's why I can't put that solely on the Eagles lost it on their end. I gotta give the Commanders their props.
Credit. Yeah, well, look, you don't take away credit for a win. Let's be clear about that. You don't take away credit for a win, but at the same time, like I said, if the offense runs different, Kenny Pickett isn't the runner or thrower.
Yes, the offense runs different for sure.
Yeah.
The offense runs different for sure.
So with while the defense did have to do a job that they didn't necessarily do the best, but if the offense scores 14 more points, because if I remember right, that was a comeback victory.
It was a comeback victory. Yes.
If they score 14 more points, we might be having a different discussion about that game. And obviously, scoring points would be a little more simpler if you had Jalen Hurts in the game.
Yeah, that part I agree with too. I think two things could be true at the same time.
Sure.
It's not like Kenny Pickett wrecked that game for him. Like
no. He just ain't Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
absolutely. All. Yep. Absolutely. So yeah. If I had to throw a grade on this, man, it's an A for me.
Yeah.
This is, and the connection that I recognize is Adam Peters, who was in that San Francisco front office, recognizing, all their inner workings over there with San Francisco. And what was that compensation? It was a 5th round pick, right?
I don't know. I just remembered reading that the Commanders are going on the contract.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think this is the last year. This is the last year on that contract, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it's the last year on the contract. Yes.
Yeah.
So they did good. I thought they did good, man. Let's be honest, his stock wasn't that high for, for him to command any more than a 5th round pick in my book. So,
I get it. He hasn't had he's had an injury riddled year, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I guess, but I mean, look, man, he still had some great plays this year. He still had, and his resume is his resume.
Right. So and he can still play.
Sure. So I think 5th round might be a little low, but I mean, look, sometimes deals get worked out, man.
Yep. Hey, like I said, Adam Peters, he knows both front offices like that. So cool. So that's cool. Speaking of the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, $41.2 million over 2 years is the extension.
Running back in the game.
Yes, sir. Congrats
to
the homie. Yep. But this is great news, kind of all around. Not just for Saquon Barkley, but for other running backs that potentially have the opportunity to get this money, man. I'm really excited about that for the running backs.
But do you really think it's going like 40? Like what's his annual? I guess his annual is like well, I don't know what his annual is because I know it's an extension added to the contract. An extension of the contract he's already on. So I don't know what the annual is, but it's upward of $17 million if he's the highest paid back in the league. And but I think the NFL is going to treat him like an anomaly. I just happened to look up Najee Harris's value, what they're saying his value is. Okay. Because he's a free agent and his value is like $8 to $10 million. So
okay. So $8 to $10 million on the market right now is what you're saying.
That there's like Bleacher Report said that that's his value right now, $8 to $10 million. And again, that's since he's been in the league as far as rushing yards, top 5 back in Najee Harris. I get that he don't have all the special explosive plays, but statistically he's there with the Derrick Henrys and the Saquon Barkleys and those types of running backs. Obviously not the same back, but
Sure. I think based on this deal, this new Barkley extension, I think Najee Harris is worth more than $10 million per year.
I think Saquon money is only going to be allotted for the likes of a Saquon Barkley, a Derrick Henry. Like I could see maybe a Jahmyr Gibbs maybe getting a little more.
Maybe. And I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't think like a Josh Jacobs or a Aaron Jones or a Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan's maybe the more better
Maybe
example
yeah, but I
because
say Bijan Robinson might be closer to it than
yeah,
he's definitely closer to it than say
and those guys,
yeah.
yes, he's closer. I would say Bijan, whenever his contract is up, he probably gets 15, 14, 15 maybe. He might not get the Saquon deal, but he might get 14, 15. And that's still a win.
I guess
Like
that's a win. Yeah.
right. That's still a win in my book, for these guys. Because I think without that market being set, I think those guys are still undervalued. So
yeah, we agree that they're undervalued. I just don't think that the NFL is going to allow, unless you're doing Saquon Barkley things. I don't think they're going to allow a running backs market to get crazy. Like Saquon Barkley, again, we're talking about over $17 million. I don't think no other running back is going to get that. He almost broke the single season record this past year, and they won the Super Bowl. Like that changes. I think he's just an anomaly. Is what I guess is what I'm getting at.
That's true. That's true. Davante Adams. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, nothing.
Davante Adams got cut from the Jets.
Like we knew he would.
I didn't know he would get cut. I thought he'd get traded, but smart on the teams to,
because who's going to pay him that kind of money?
Right. So they had no choice. They had no choice in the matter. So he's out there on the street, bro. What say you? You want your team to go get him?
I want to shore up my quarterback before I talk about it. Even though I know we need receivers, I want to talk about my quarterback, whoever we're going to get. I want to talk about my defensive line, and I want to talk about a cornerback. Now, a more interesting release to me as far as Steelers news is that Darius Slay was released. How much money do you want? Because I don't want to break the bank, but I definitely, can we get him 10 mil? 10 mil a year. If we can get him 10 mil a year and he willing to play for 10 mil a year, give me Darius Slay, right?
So that cornerback room. So what would that cornerback room consist of?
Joey Porter. As of right now, Dante Jackson, but I don't know. I believe he could go, but I don't think what I'm saying him. But him. And Cody Trice is a young boy who's beginning a lot of injuries, but I like him. But Darius Slay would solidify our corner. We ain't got to talk no more. If we get a healthy Darius Slay, we ain't got to talk no more about the cornerback position. We good. I'm fully confident in our secondary if we can pull a Darius Slay.
Interesting. Yeah. Give me Davante Adams. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Give me Davante Adams. All this crazy stuff I'm seeing on the timeline. Like cut it out, guys. He's still Davante.
Still 33 years old. Still one of the better route runners in the league. I don't know what happened in New York, but we know what happened in New York now.
He ain't want to. Yeah, we know what happened now.
Okay, what say you? What happened in New York?
What happened in New York? Come on, bro. The Jets.
Come on. Say it.
Come on, man.
Say
Come on. Okay, I know what you think.
Say it.
I know what you thinking. You want me to say that the quarterback is washed.
I want you to say what you think. I want you to say what you think.
It's a failed experiment in New York. Point blank. Period. They bought that dude over to get a Super Bowl. And he got hurt the first year, and the second year they let the coach go too early, and they let the interim.
You talking about Davante Adams?
No, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm talking about.
Okay,
Aaron
you kind of jumped on me. That's why I was confused.
Well, you said what happened in New York. I'm explaining what happened in New York.
Oh no. Okay.
They both was on the team.
I meant no. But I meant specifically because we was talking about Davante Adams. I more so meant what happened with Davante Adams.
Oh, I mean nothing physical. Like that. It wasn't his fault. The Jets is some trash.
I mean, look, he didn't play the best, but he did not play the best with a quarterback.
Agreed.
Okay, agreed. So why didn't Because the reason why. Well, I'm curious. What happened with Davante Adams specifically? I want to. That's what I was asking. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I if you're asking me physically what's wrong with him, I don't think there's anything wrong with him physically, with the exception that he's getting older. Okay, cool. I mean, 33, 34 years old, you can still play wide receiver. I blame that all on the team. The team wasn't good. They weren't coached properly. We knew once Aaron Rodgers was gonna get cut from this team, and I know that it's not official that he's been cut, but they've announced that the team is moving on from him. We knew good and damn well Davante Adams was going to get up out of there, whether it was via trade or whether he was going to get cut.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was. That's for me what happened with Davante Adams. Like, the only reason he was brought over there, to be honest, was because of Aaron Rodgers. And I get he didn't want to be in LA no more and all that, but the reason he was brought to New York was to play with Aaron Rodgers. And for whatever reason, you know where I'm going, but for whatever reason, they couldn't make that happen. Because one thing that you thought, or if you're a fan of the Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams thing, you thought that even if this team was bad, the chemistry between them, that quarterback and wide receiver, was going to be good, and at least we was going to be able to put some numbers up doing that. Yeah, but they didn't put numbers up.
Right. And I'm not going to front. They had some spurts in games, but it wasn't Green Bay. It wasn't that Green Bay connection.
Let's be clear. They didn't put numbers up. Sure. But, and I feel you spurts and, sure, I'm, ebbs and flows. That's such as life. But what they brought him to do on that team, he underachieved. Both of them underachieved massively. So, even if you was going to play, he wasn't playing well. Yeah. For whatever reason. Look, I'm not here to say Davante Adams is washed or he not a good wide receiver. I don't believe that. But for whatever reason,
they didn't play well. Yeah, they didn't. For whatever
reason, they didn't play well. Right. And certainly the only reason I came over here was to kind of resurge my, get some resurgence on my, and not to say Davante Adams was falling off, but just in LA, Vegas, no quarterbacks, whoop whoop whoop. He kind of, he was kind of teetering off a little bit. So go back with the quarterback that made it happen, that I got chemistry with, and we should get it back. And it didn't come back for whatever reason. And I think, honestly, what I think is that it got to a point where he noticed that Aaron Rodgers ain't the same. And he stopped.
What you think? You think he was taking plays off?
I think he was taking plays. I think, and it wouldn't be a stretch because he was taking plays off in Vegas for similar reasons. I feel, what I'm saying. Like the Bama didn't feel like he was getting the proper quarterback play.
He want to win,
right? He want to win. And when you see, this team not going to win,
he want to win.
What am I wasting my time for?
And not for nothing, the Jets defense blew some games kind of like mid to late, in that season. So
I'm gonna add to that. That's on Aaron Rodgers. That's on Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like we are, because any other time when they didn't believe they had a franchise quarterback or a competent quarterback, that was a number one defense. They get a quarterback that they believe to be competent. It's like, not only do we could play good defense, but they're gonna put up points. You would think that's the time where you need to turn up, because now we're gonna get offense that match the defense. But offense ain't that good. Hey, bro, I ain't about to waste my time. I'm not about to sit here and waste my time being a top 5 defense, and I got a franchise Hall of Fame quarterback that's not even trying to get me no points. That can't get me no points.
Yeah, I feel like and that defense turned when they put what's his name as the interim. So they took him from his defensive coordinator duties, and the defense went south right after that. I mean, you saw the difference. So
that shit show. I blame that entire shit show on Aaron Rodgers. That's who I blame it on.
Yeah, well, well, if you believe he got the coach fired after week 5.
Yeah, I believe all that.
Okay.
I believe all that.
I'm with you. All right, let's get the wonderful guest in here for this week. April Watts, DMV Baltimore radio personality, doing all kinds of things on the internet streets and throwing parties and things like that. April Watts, thank you so much, for coming through. I see you got the Commanders stuff. You repping the Commanders and all
I
that.
had to do it for the Commanders. I also love the Baltimore Ravens, but I am proud of what the Commanders have done. Like, you gotta give it to the Commanders. They came from nothing and nowhere, and previously having a horrible owner, and just made some magic this season. So I had to rep the Commanders. And because when we talk about what we gonna talk about, DC might be mad at me. So I had to let DC know that I love them too.
Oh, love.
That's what's
up. So definitely welcome to the show. We appreciate you. I mean, look, we got to get straight into the Commanders talk. We were just talking about Deebo Samuel's coming over. We want to hear your thoughts.
Listen, I'm not a big football person. I can't get into all the technicalities of it, but whatever they need to do to build that team around that wonderful, that amazing quarterback, they need to do it. Because what I did notice this season is even though like he was doing a phenomenal job, J5 doing a wonderful job, like the team around him just wasn't big enough, just wasn't strong enough to take us all the way. So if they're bringing in people that are going to help him out and protect him, because I was so worried about him getting hurt, like we cannot have him get hurt. So whoever needs to come to make that happen, let's get it.
Deebo Samuels is one of them weapons that'll take a little pressure off him for sure.
All right.
Yep. And they're not done. They're not done making moves. I sense that they got a lot of bread in that salary cap. They're gonna make some moves. Free agency is about to be next week, something like that. And they're gonna make some moves for sure. I love how that team's coming around.
Yeah.
But I wanted to first start off with your radio career, because I moved to Maryland back in 2001 after high school, and I turn on the radio when I hear voices like DJ Flex, Rain, Donnie Simpson, and then I hear voices like yours on the radio, 102.3 down in DC and 95.9 up here in Baltimore. Who were some of your who were the people that you looked up to as influencers as you was kind of coming into the radio business?
Interestingly enough, the people that I will mention, you probably haven't heard of, because I was trained by somebody who was old school. My mentor, may he rest in peace, his name was Lou Hankins. He did WOL and WOOK, like all of the old school radio back in the day. He was the biggest gospel radio personality at the time. His name was Lou Hankins. And he was the program director of a radio station called WPFW, which is in DC. It's primarily a jazz station, but they play a little bit of everything. It's a nonprofit radio station. And I went in there thinking I was going to get a hip hop show. And he was like, we don't do hip hop here. And I was like, well, I'll do anything because I want to learn how to do radio. And my beginning in radio, thinking I was going to get a hip hop show, was straight ahead jazz. So I was playing Miles Davis and Ella Fitzgerald and Etta James and all of these people. And it really opened my world up. And Lou had brought in like the old school programmers who really knew how to do radio, the Candy Shannons of the world, the Bobby Bennett's of the world, people like Robin Holden, who were on like WHUR way back in the day when they had like the 360 degrees of sound. These are all legendary people. So I had the opportunity to sit at the feet of the legends and learn respect for the craft and professionalism. So even though I'm younger than some, I really have an old school approach to radio.
Okay. Well, what got you started at the radio? Like, what made you like? Where did this passion come from? What got you started? Because I do music and things like that. But one thing I never thought radio was something I would want to do. I always wonder how people get interested in wanting to do radio.
Well, I've been a talker my entire life. Like, I came out the womb basically talking. And my mom, she always talked to me. I was very inquisitive. I've always had the same personality. If you knew me when I was 3, 4, 5, the same person, just a bigger vocabulary and a different body. And we would be out and about. And I'd be like, well, Mom, why do we have to look both ways before crossing the street? And she says, well, because you don't want to get hit by a car. Why don't I want to get hit by a car? Why? But she never said, shut up. I don't know how she did it, because I would have needed to pop a Valium. I would have needed to get a babysitter, something, but she always entertained me. She always answered my questions. She encouraged me to talk. She encouraged me to be inquisitive. And I grew up in Martin Luther King Avenue, Ward 8, far southwest, right on the corner of Forster and Martin Luther King Avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She was, the hood.
Okay.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
she was always like, you are here, but you are not of here. And when I would come in the house trying to talk like the people on the street, this, that, she would be like, no, it's this, THIS. And she'd be like, let me hear the T on the end. And I thought I hated her, but she taught me pronunciation and enunciation. She made me bold enough to inquire and to use my voice and to speak. And so all of those things just came full circle. I graduated from college. I went to college out in California. What's up, Pittsburgh College? And I was about to go get a PhD in anthropology. I was literally going to be walked into the program, didn't have to take the GRE, didn't have to do anything, because one of my professors was going to just walk me through. And it hit me. And I was like, I've loved music my entire life. I've loved talking my entire life. Let me put them together and do some radio. And I came home and I was like, Mom, I'm going to do radio. And she was like, what? You went to that school way out there, cost all that money, you got that fancy education, and you talking about you going to do what? How you going to do it? And I was like, I'm going to figure it out. And I went to WPFW, which is where I got my first radio gig. It was volunteer, but I did everything. I was a volunteer on-air personality, but then I got hired from my mentor to be his assistant. So I was programming assistant, development assistant on the air. And that's where I got my bones in radio. And that's where I learned everything. Then I ended up at Radio 1, and the majority of my career has been spent at various Radio 1 stations. And people may know me from DC and Baltimore, but I was also on the air at 100.3 Old School in Cincinnati when Radio 1 had an XM station called XM 169 The Power. I was doing news under the moniker of Karen Taylor, because back then you couldn't do multiple things, so you had to create another name, so it didn't seem like it was a conflict of interest. But yeah, and here we are. It's 25 years later. I haven't worked in radio for 5 years, but because of the work that I've done, I'm so fortunate and blessed to say that I have been able to thrive independently doing media stuff with my own company for the last 5 years.
That's what's up.
So you mentioned the two cities. So Baltimore and DC.
Yes.
They're two different markets, two different cultures. And you got outsiders still calling Baltimore the DMV, folks. Baltimore is not the DMV, folks. Y'all got to get that out of y'all system.
But I found it out the hard way. When I got to Baltimore and I was doing Baltimore radio, and I'm seeing that first and foremost, the rivalry between DC and Baltimore is fake news. It really is fake news. DC respects Baltimore culture. Baltimore respects DC culture, but they both have pride in who they are. And that's basically what that is. But the whole rivalry, it really doesn't exist. And I'm saying that as a person, I'm DC. I'm DC proper. I'm not on the outskirts or any of that. And I know DC. I was a radio personality in DC for very many years. I was a radio personality in Baltimore for very many years. And I'm telling you, the rivalry isn't there. When I was in DC doing parties, we would play house music. When I'm in Baltimore doing parties, we play go-go music. And I'm telling you, it's love. It's pride for where you're from, but it's still all love. But no, Baltimore is not part of the DMV, because when I got to Baltimore, I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring them together, and it's going to be one big kumbaya. And no, Baltimore wasn't having it. Baltimore was like, don't play with us like that. Baltimore is not part of the DMV. So I respect the differences.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say to cut you off, Trey, because
go ahead.
I've been in DC my entire life. I'm on Fairlawn Avenue, Good Hope Road, along that area.
Yeah.
So I'm not super far from you. But that you kind of summed it up for me, because I've always been here my entire life. I've always felt an uneasiness, and about Baltimore. Like, it's not an issue. You're right. It's not an issue. I go to Josephine. I used to go to Josephine's all the time when I'm out in Baltimore. I always forget the name of this club that's kind of like under an underpass in Baltimore. But back in the day, I used to go there.
Are you talking about the Paradox?
It might be the Paradox.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
It might be.
I was thinking Hammerjacks for some reason, but
that's another club. That is another one I used to go. I used to
right.
Matter of fact,
right.
we went like
we
once
went.
or twice.
We went
like once or twice. But I say that to say is there's always a little uneasiness about when I see a full decked out Baltimore dude and me being a DC dude, and we never getting enough. We always we drink. We all want the similar things in life, but I think you summed it up great for me. That it's a respect. It's not a beef thing. It's a pride thing. Like it's a pride thing. I think you kind of helped me figure out what my uneasiness is, because it's more like I see what you're doing, but you gonna see what I'm doing too, and it's kind of that thing. So I appreciate that sense of clarity for me. I don't have to feel so uneasy now at 40 years old, going up to Baltimore, still looking at people like, nah, I'm here too.
I gotta tell y'all one funny story really, really quickly. The first year that I was in Baltimore, everybody tried to scare me, not Baltimoreans, but just people, period, tried to scare me and be like, Baltimore's not gonna rock with you because they don't rock with DC like that. And I was just like, watch this, because I believe I can go anywhere in the world and I'm gonna triple my worth, Right.
Make an impact. That's right.
So I was just like, watch this, because I believe that real recognizes real no matter where you go. And so for some reason, like I'm ambidextrous. I can move through the corporate world, through the faith-based world, and street dudes love me too. And so one time I was at a nightclub in Baltimore, my first year there, and these OGs came over to me and it was like, what you drinking? What you want? Listen, you good anywhere in Baltimore. I'm just gonna tell you that. But then they were like, but can you answer me this question? Why DC people don't like Baltimore? Y'all call us Bammers. And for real, we don't like that. That hurt our feelings, because we ain't got no problem with DC. And I was like, let me explain something to you. I was like, DC call everybody Bammers. I was like, you can live right across the border in Capitol Heights, which is like DC Junior, and we're gonna call you Maryland Bammers, that's DC's word. It's a term of endearment, and sometimes it's an insult too. I was like, no, it's not like DC just think Baltimore is Bammers. DC call anybody from Maryland Bammers, and Baltimore happens to be in Maryland. We were like, thank you, and once again, thank you for clearing that up.
For sure, for sure.
The nightlife, though. I've said for about 15 years now that DC is a top 5 place for nightlife. I think Baltimore's nightlife is underrated. I think it doesn't get enough love than what it should. I think there's spots in the city that you can go, and I think it's because there's always this negative stigma about the city from the outside. But unless you don't live here, you don't really get to see the ins and outs of the city. Like, Baltimore at night can be a very vibrant city. I'm not even talking about like by the harbor. I'm just talking like Midtown, over on the east side where there's spots. I know you like to go to a spot by Johns Hopkins Hospital over there. So I think Baltimore has a very underrated nightlife.
I'm gonna make some people mad. Don't forget, I'm wearing my commander shirt. As a person who has partied in and thrown parties and hosted parties in both places, just from an honest standpoint, Baltimore nightlife is way better than DC's nightlife. And the reason that I say that is because if you want to party, not if you want to floss, if you want to look good, you want to put on your red bottoms, your Gucci, your and show off and floss. If you want to do that, that's DC. If you want to see who's who, that's DC. But if you want to dance like it's 1990 something, if you want to sweat, if you want to have a good time, if you want the vibes, Baltimore nightlife is a vibe. Period. And
respond to that, Trey. Respond to that, Trey. I mean, Maestro.
I'm about to say, you want to respond to yourself?
My fault.
Nah, you good. Nah. I can't disagree. Now I'm still personally, I'm not gonna say that, but I agree with your point. I still like DC nightlife better, but I agree with your point that look, one time I was in Baltimore, and I gotta say this, I gotta believe this was Hammer Jacks, and and I don't, we drinking, we doing our thing, and I'm not no real in public dancer type of dude for real. But I just do know that at some point around, 1 in.the morning, I caught myself in a like this is uncomfortable. What am I doing right now? And I know in DC I wouldn't do that. And I'm not like super popular or nothing, but because we seen you out, such and such doing what, where, we don't do a whole bunch of traveling to Baltimore, so but in DC, I might be somewhere, and then they say, "Cuz we seen you in the club the other day looking crazy," and yeah. So that's the DC dynamic. Like if you looking crazy somewhere in DC, and they see you, they gonna see you out, outside of the club, and be like, "Hey, we saw you." In Baltimore, I got a little out my pocket, and that was it. Nobody knew about it.
You weren't recognizable.
I wasn't doing nothing crazy. I was just a little, sweating. That's the best way to say it. I was sweating a little bit, and I just was able to go home and do at night activities. But
at night activities.
That's for sure.
How about this? I think if you're a lounge person and you just want to lounge, you just want to do something sexy, DC is the vibe. But if you really want to party, if you want to dance, if you want to let the music take your body over and you just really have a good time, Baltimore is the vibe.
I can't disagree with that.
That's interesting.
I just don't like to do too much sweating, so that's probably why I'm gonna stick on the DC side. I don't like to sweat too much. I can't be sweating.
And the travel part too. I think there's something about.
Now I hate parking, and I hate parking. Let's be clear. I DC parking for me is always trash. So there's that.
Metro makes a huge difference when it comes to
but you don't really want to be on the Metro. You just don't want to do it. Like that's just you don't want to do that.
Really?
Dog. That's
like an Uber Black or something.
Yeah, right. That's terrible, Trey. I'm telling you, that's terrible to do. And I'm not acting like I've never done it before. I'm just saying,
right.
I
guess because I'm from New York and I rode the train my whole life. And I'm just so used to
that's definitely a New York thing.
That's different.
It's different. It's different for sure. It's different for sure.
Because you'll mess around like what's that joint that used to be on New York Avenue? It was Bliss, and then it was
it had like 10 different names.
Yeah. You don't want to get
on
on the train and have to go to that place. You don't want to get on the train from that place. Like
I'm trying to think who can get the train over there. That's what I'm trying to think about.
You walk in blocks. You walk in blocks is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You don't want to do that.
Shoes.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. DC is really not the place for that.
I feel you on that part. I feel you on that.
DC's not the place for that.
All right, so let's get down to the main event over the weekend. So Miss April has shared with us that she is a big boxing fan. So I told her when we bring her on here, we'll talk some boxing. And we had Baltimore, DC over the weekend. Baltimore versus DC. Tank Davis, Lamont Roach, Capitol Heights. Shout out to the Heights over there. April,
and
give us
brothers too.
Hey, right. Shout out Gary Russell.
Gary Russell. That's right. Shout out to him.
Too. I was proud of him. I was like,
yeah, good stuff. Good stuff from the area was represented very well over the weekend in Brooklyn for sure. So April, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on everything in regards to the fight and what you saw. Are you upset about the results? Like, how do you feel?
I'm disappointed about the results, but I'm not upset about the results. And what I saw was a good fight. I saw two
great fight,
equally yoked fighters, two equally talented fighters duking it out. I pay attention because I'm a words person, and I listened to what the commentators were saying about, Tank survived a hairy situation. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He didn't survive. He boxed his ass off, but he had a person that he was equally matched with. And we're not used to that from Tank. One of my Instagram followers said Tank has spoiled us with those knockouts. We are used to Tank coming in and completely dominating. And because he did not dominate, it made it seem like, oh my God, he lost the fight. Oh my God, Tank got whooped. No, Tank did not get whooped. Lamont Roach did not get whooped. They battled, and it was an amazing fight. I think both of them did some questionable things. I think the referee did everybody a disservice because he ain't seen nothing. Because I know that I specifically counted at least 3 times when Roach hit Tank in the back of the head. That's illegal. He didn't get warned. He didn't get a point deducted. He didn't get nothing. Tank, who did not get hit, but he took a knee because of hair product or whatever. And people can say what they want about that. I'm a girl. I don't have no hair right now, but I've had hair for most of my life. I've had weaves. I've had jerry curls. I've had dreadlocks.
Break it down.
Blowouts. I've had the whole 9 yards. And I'm here to tell you that if you have any sort of product in your hair and you sweat, and the sweat trickles into your eye, it is going to irritate your eye. Now, let's be honest. Do I think the Tank would have taken that knee to get that out of his eye if he was winning the fight? No. If he was dominating, he probably would have dealt with it and just gotten it out at the end of that round, right? But at that point, the ref hadn't seen anything Roach did that was illegal. So Tank was like, hey, I'm going to take a knee. I'm going to get this out of my eye or what have you. And then after that, now there's some debate about whether Roach took a knee after that or whether Tank leaned on his back. I did not see Tank lean on his back. I'm not going to say that he didn't, but I only saw the fight once. And what I saw, I was like, okay, Tank took a knee, Roach took a knee. And the commentators even said something about Roach taking that knee. So the way where I'm from, turnabout is fair play, fair exchange, ain't no robbery. Some illegal stuff that went Tank's way took place. Some illegal stuff that went Roach's way took place. Cancel it out. And if you cancel it out, the reason that I'm disappointed, if you cancel out Tank's knee, you cancel out Roach hitting him in the back of the head, it was a good fight that was basically evenly matched. And when the contender does not decisively whoop the champion, it goes to the champion. And that is why I'm disappointed that they did not give it to Tank. But I believe that mentally the judges felt like they had to make it right when Tank took that knee, so they just made it a draw. Am I mad about it being a draw? I'm not mad. But what I am upset about is the people who turned on Tank. What I hate about people is more than seeing someone win or to climb to the top, people love to see you fall from grace. They love to see you fall from greatness. They love to see that pedestal kicked from underneath you. And what we saw was, for the first time, yes, other people have gone the distance with Tank, like Pitbull, it was a great fight, all of that. But I have not, me personally, I have never seen a person fight Tank who was not scared of him or had a healthy respect for him. And Roach didn't give a goddamn.
Yes,
Roach
ma'am.
really wanted it. And I think that Tank didn't know what to do with that, and he was unable to make that adjustment. The reason that I feel he was unable to make that adjustment, and this is just my personal opinion, Coach Calvin should have been front and center in that man's corner. I don't know why he wasn't, none of my business. But the trainer, I think I was told the trainer's name is Barry. I don't know. Okay. I did not feel that connection with Tank. I felt like he was too laid back. It was crucial moments in the fight. It was one moment when Tank was in the ring looking to his corner for guidance. I saw it. He was looking like, what do I do right now? And if Coach Calvin would have been front and center in that corner, I really believe the fight would have been different. I believe that Tank's confidence would have been different. I don't believe that he broke Tank down, but I do believe that Tank was like, I got to do something here, and he didn't know what to do, and he failed to make that adjustment. But it was a great fight. I'm looking forward to the rematch. I have not seen. I'm more of an old boxing fan, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I have not been this excited about a rematch since.
Yeah.
It was two Latino fighters. It was Corrales and Castillo. I was super excited about them. Like, they slugged it out. They went head to head. The rivalry was exciting. And that's the same feeling that I have about Roach and Tank.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm still looking forward to the rematch. I mean, I was actually excited once they declared it a draw. I mean, like you, I was disappointed. Because I got to be honest with you. If they would have gave the dub to Roach, I'd have been perfectly fine with that, because he earned my respect Saturday night. He I didn't know much about him coming into the fight. I saw his techniques, his skills and things like that. He earned my respect Saturday night, going up against Tank. And you can say what you want about there being some kind of fixes in situation where the ref just kind of let the knee go. At that point, it was just like, what, they just want to see these guys box. Let it go. Let the Roach took a knee, let it slide, let this thing go to distance, because this is an exciting fight. And it did some great numbers too, ratings wise. But yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to part 2. I gotta say this too. It's got to be in the area, whether it's at CFG, whether it's at CFG or whether it's at Cap 1, it's got to be in the area. It's got to be in the area.
I get on neutral ground, because if you do it in Baltimore, then it's
I could understand that. I could understand that point.
Do it in DC, the crowd link. I think New York is the best place to have it, and whoever wants to see it from either place, spend that money, make that trip. Yeah,
the Garden.
Yeah,
I can see that though. I can see.
As much as that would be good culture wise, these boys is jacking cars at an all-time high around that area, Capital One. Like I recall a Rod Wave concert where literally they went down the line on a street and every car had a crack in their windshield down the line. I don't want to see that for my people. I don't want to see that
Metro.
For my people. Yeah,
I'm taking Metro.
Mr. Metro.
So I don't want to see that for. I don't want to see that for them people, man. Because them boys gonna be outside if they put that. Whoever the criminals in Baltimore, they coming down here. Whoever the criminals from DC, that bus, Metro, Uber, bikes,
light rail, they going up there.
Yeah, they gonna be up there. And I just personally, and I guess crime happens everywhere in the world. I'm just saying, it's just too close knit. I tell you one thing, I won't be out there. I'll be in the house. I won't be nowhere. I won't be nowhere near there. I won't be nowhere near the nigga tree. I won't do it. Families
gonna want tickets.
I won't.
They're gonna come through in droves.
I will. I will watch it in the comfort of my home, safe, where nobody wants to jump in my car. With that said, the fight, as far as the fight goes, look, I need to first apologize to Lamont Roach Jr. because I had no clue. I remember, when this fight was announced, and I said, this nigga gonna get cleaned up. And it ain't even going to be.
Now, Maestro, how much did you know about him coming into the fight? Like,
I knew he
have
existed.
You seen some of his previous stuff?
I knew he existed. I knew he existed. When the fight was announced, I watched him fight Jamal Herring, who was his like I guess his pivotal loss, with the one that he says he learned so much from because he just didn't give it all his all. He felt like he left something on the in the ring in that fight.
Yeah.
But Tank is Tank. Tank is on his run. I mean, he might not be pound for pound the best boxer, but pound for pound certainly the most popular right now. And he is him. Like I didn't see him being I didn't see this being no different from what he's been doing and on this run. But I watched him in an interview and he was just real adamant. And I saw his Breakfast Club interview, and a lot of people were saying, he looks scared. He looks scared. But I mean, I looked at it different. I'm like, I'm from here. Capitol Heights is 5 minutes from where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, hey, I got something too. Like I know who he is and I respect who he is, but who I am as well. And so that was in every interview and every Instagram clip I saw, it was him saying like, dog, we know he's nice. Ain't no question about Tank being nice, but I'm nice too. And it was like, for me, it was like David and Goliath in a sort of way. Like everybody looking at him like he's this big bad monster. It's like, dog, I'm here too, and we could do what we got to do. And he did what he had to do. Like, no shade to Tank Davis, because this ain't a bad thing. This comes with celebrity. This comes with wins. This comes with the run you're on. But there's always going to be somebody hungrier than you when you're on the kind of run you're on. And I think it's key that Tank is comfortable. And that, look, the dude, who would blame him making all this money, dropping people the way he's dropping people, to think like I'm hot shit. That's not to say he's not putting the work in, he's not doing the necessary things. It's just like, I'm him. Like, this is a favor to Lamont. This is a favor to Lamont Roach. And Lamont Roach said something like that in the post conference. It's a favor. I ain't gotta let you fight me. I'm me and you're you. I'm from here. I've only heard whispers of this dude. I equate him to like a Dusty Hernandez. This dude is like, he just went. So for him to get on this stage and do what he did, it says a lot about Lamont Roach. I apologize, my fault. You deserve to be in these and he deserves to be in these conversations with that weight class now. He can't take no small fights no more. Like he about to be the next one up and coming if he continues to fight like this, win or lose. So shout out to Lamont Roach. As far as the fight goes, you take a knee, you should get a point deducted. That's the way, voluntary or involuntarily, you take a knee. I understand the hair thing. I actually saw a video where the braid hit him in his eye.
So that's where it probably came from.
Right. So cool. Like I understand what you did. I even understand why you did it. He said in the post conference, like, if I didn't take a knee, then I'm defenseless, trying to figure it out. And we know the type of fight that Roach was fighting. So anytime, literally anytime, it was little moments where they was trying to break and he's still in jabs. Like Roach was there to fight a fight. So you can't leave yourself defenseless because your eye hurts. So I get why he took the knee, but if you take a voluntary knee, you got to take a point. And in my book, that point wise should have been the difference. But I do agree with you, April, in saying to dethrone the champ, it has to be decisive. It has to be decisively whoop him.
Yeah. It has not decisively whoop Tank. I do want to say this. You touched on something about Tank. I think because Tank has been, way before this Roach fight, he's been talking about retiring, saying that he doesn't he literally came out his mouth and said to the public that he doesn't want to do it anymore, right? So what we saw was a great fight between two talented fighters. I will never say that in that fight, Lamont Roach outboxed Tank. I would say he outwilled Tank because he has the hunger for more. Tank has it all. Now, here is what I'm hoping, because Tank definitely immediately said he's looking forward to the rematch. He wants the rematch. They're on X right now, going at it, going back and forth. Tank was like, we can get it in as early as late May. I don't care, right? What I'm hoping, I think that when you are so good for so long and you're knocking people out, and boxing, like any sport, is a competition. Tank is a competitor, right? When it's so easy, you don't want it no more. You came from the bottom, you're rich now. What else do you have to prove? You can take that money, invest it, go live a good life. You're a celebrity now. You have celebrity friends. So what I'm hoping happened with this fight is Lamont Roach lit a fire back under Tank to make him want it some more, because I feel like Tank got a lot more fight left in him. I don't want to see him go away just yet because he's good for boxing. And I hope he comes back, and I hope that rematch is a war. Like, I'm really looking forward to that rematch.
Yeah. I was about to say, because, for the sport of boxing in general, this was great. I mean, this was a great weekend for boxing. And, the rematch can only be greater than what we saw.
I'm gonna stop you there, and let's be clear. And I hope you're right. Let's be very, very clear. What I'm scared of, and look, I just got finished apologizing to Lamont Roach. So I'm gonna try to be gentle with this. He might have, for a football analogy, I'm scared that Lamont Roach feels like he played his Super Bowl. Like getting there and fighting the top of the tops and standing his ground. That can breed complacency. Like, damn, like what else I need? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because again, it goes back to, this was a favor. Davante Davis could have fought anybody in the world. And in a matter of fact, when we're talking about in terms of legacy, is a lot of conversations about Davante Davis hasn't fought anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about
Shakur, right?
Well, that's who they saying he needs to fight. Him, Lomachenko. It's a few others on the list, but when we talking about who he's fought, Rolly, what's Slim from social media, Garcia, like a lot of people are saying like that's cute, but these dudes, like I think a lot of people would say his toughest fight before this was Santa Cruz, and he struggled with Santa Cruz. That wasn't his best showing against Santa Cruz. So it was a favor to Lamont Roach to fight him. But all that to say is that Lamont Roach, like I'm just concerned, like, are you going to be able to follow up that performance with that type of boxer?
Right. Because best believe Tank is going to come stronger. Let me tell
you what Tank said in his post conference, and I'll paraphrase some of the things he said. One was he was disappointed. And it's funny that you mentioned his corner, because in his post conference he mentioned, me and my corner got some things to talk about.
Put Coach Calvin front and center, Tank. Coach Calvin is that dude. He is that guy. You guys have been a killer combination. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know why he wasn't front and center. I don't care. At the end of the day, I will put money on it that if Coach Calvin was front and center in that corner, the fight would have gone differently. That is truly my opinion.
And look, again, you ain't even wrong in feeling that way. You ain't wrong in feeling that way, because again, say what you want. And I'm not saying Davante Davis didn't fight a good fight. I'm saying that he didn't fight his best fight.
No, he did not.
He did not fight his best fight. That's clear. Gambles that he would take in the past, he didn't take those gambles. I don't know if it was because of the pressure or the pressure that Lamont was applying, or he just wasn't. I don't know what it was. I just know what I saw. And I'm like, ooh, no, he takes that one. Normally he takes that angle. Normally he swings right here. And it was certain situations. And another thing I didn't like is that he was doing a lot of talking to the referee. he was doing a lot of talking. I'm all for the talking to the opponent. I'm all for that. But but when around the 5th round, and look, I kind of low key took note. I noticed at the 4th round that they in the box and he looks like out into the crowd, and I'm like, what do we? What got your attention out there?
Yeah.
What got your attention out there? I'm waiting to hear the next day that niggas got to fighting in the crowd or something. Like, what did you see out there that took your attention? It was a real quick glance. And then by the 5th round, he complaining about, and again, let's be clear, Lamont Roach got some shit off. He did. Some shit off. He got some shit off, and maybe that's a reason to complain a little bit. But it was a little bit too much talking to the referee for my liking in a boxing match. So for me, it's just another thing he said was this fight made me realize I want to get back in the gym.
That's what I'm talking about. That spark that he
needed. So it's interesting that you was mentioning them things, because I'm like, all right, because these are the exact things he said after the fight. Is like, now the last thing I'll say he said in the press conference, and obviously things can change. They asked him when was a rematch possible, like could it be this year? And he made it very clear in the post conference, and obviously this was before they got to talking on Twitter, that he ain't got no room to fight Lamont Roach this year. It might not be till 2026. He got some situations where he might fight later on this year, and he didn't mention who, but we all assume it's Shakur Stevenson. That's the fight that he's trying that he got to get ready for, and that he don't have time to fight Lamont Roach. Now, obviously, there was something in the contract, allegedly. I ain't read the contract, obviously, that says that an immediate rematch should be coming. But boxing politics is boxing politics. The one thing I hate about boxing is the politics. I hate it. Exactly. I absolutely hate it, because
too many hands in the cookie jar, man.
As far as I'm concerned, if you healthy and he healthy, give me a month and a half, give me 6 weeks, 2 months tops to get the training.
Right.
This should be ran back in June. If everybody healthy, everybody good physically, you talk to your guy, whoever you serve, and everybody ready, like y'all should be fighting in June. If both of y'all really want this the way y'all talking on Twitter, let's be clear.
Right.
I know Lamont Roach feel like he want this fight again. Why wouldn't he? Tank Davis is still doing the favor.
Do you think he should take the immediate, like in terms of timetable? Do you think if they're like, hey, let's do this in June, do you think he should accept June right away, or do you think he should kind of, because like you said earlier in the football comparison, you feel like you're afraid that this might have been his Super Bowl. Yeah, maybe he waits it out, maybe 6 months, 7 months down the line. That's
October
at that point.
That's just my speculation, though. I don't know that he feels that way. Sure, but only way we're gonna know is if you fight and the iron is hot. Why wait? If you
I personally think they should wait till the fall, only because that's a lot of hits in the head and just for like medical reasons. I love to see a good fight, but I want people to stay healthy and just for healing purposes, because we don't know what's going on internally. I gotta say this. Roach hit Tank with one shot that staggered him. I looked at that and I said, wobbly. But any other fighter would have been on his back and rocked to sleep. And Tank ate that joint and he kept going. So everybody looked at it like, oh my God, da 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 da. But you didn't look at, like, you kind of got to step back and you got to look at everything, right? Any other fighter in the world would have been on his back. And the fight would have been over. Tank ate it and he kept on going. But when I think about that hit, Tank don't need to fight nobody at the end of May. He don't need to fight. He needs to wait until he's fully healed.
Good point.
So I don't want to see Tank fight someone else next. I'm most excited about Tank and Roach, and I would love to see them fight around October.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I could see that. And I agree. The health angle I agree with, by the way. I agree with the health angle. The sports in me, the sports, fanatic or whatever, is like, all right, nah, get it together and get to it. But I would rather these people live old and and enjoy the money. So I'm with you there. I am concerned. Unfortunately, though, I still don't think, as good as this fight was, if they said, if Davante Davis went on and said Shakur Stevenson or Lamont Roach, who do y'all want? I think the general consensus is still going to be slightly Shakur Stevenson over Lamont Roach.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And because, and I don't know how that would happen because, that's still the bigger fight. So I tend to believe, even though they're talking a whole bunch of trash on Twitter, that if there is going to be a fight, it's not going to be that rematch first. I tend to believe, while, I think that's a bunch of bravado on Twitter. I think that's what that is.
But no matter which way it goes, whether it's the rematch first or it's the fight with him and Shakur, this puts boxing in such a great place, spotlight, a great place for sure.
But I'm gonna tell you though, I think maybe the draw sent the message to Tank Davis. Maybe it sent the message like, let me lock in.
Absolutely.
But I feel like a loss. I feel like a loss really would have put this in perspective for him. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see how it happens. Look, it ain't too many greats that's undefeated. It ain't too many greats. Everybody had to take that loss.
That first joint.
That, it ain't too many goats. I mean, I get it. Floyd, and he's a goat. Don't get it twisted.
He's not a goat to me.
Woo!
Hot take.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Let's go.
I think Floyd Mayweather is hands down, without a question, no competition, undisputedly the most influential fighter in history.
I agree there.
Because he changed the game, because of what he did to boxing. He made it so fighters were smart. So fighters made business moves. So fighters had marketing savvy. So fighters didn't get beat up and punched drunk and all of that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you can say what you want about Tank not fighting certain people. People say the same thing about Floyd. People say that Floyd was a cherry picker, and that's why he had that perfect record. I'm not to me, never losing doesn't make you great. What makes you great, in the words of Rocky Balboa, is not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about you getting back up. And that's why everybody loved Muhammad Ali. That's why he was the world greatest. Because one, he took on all contenders, he took on all comers, and he lost before and he came back. So and while I love what Floyd did as far as changing the game to make it beneficial to boxers, so boxers can get rich, so boxers have their own promotion companies, things of that nature, I hate what he did to boxing, because that's when I stopped watching boxing. Boxing stopped being interesting. It stopped being fun. It stopped being like, I would watch people slug it out. And then boxing became more about business. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, no. And for those reasons, he will never be great to me. Influential, yes.
I could respect the take. I could respect it from that angle.
I respect it. I definitely do respect it. Look, anybody, in my book, anybody who, I'm losing my thought on who the other boxer is, but Rocky Marciano, anybody who can go undefeated throughout the course of a career, cherry picking or not, like that is a feat. All you are all like, look, let's be clear. Shane Mosley almost got one in the first round. He almost got one in the first round on Floyd. Old Shane, you know what I'm saying? Almost got one on him. So I mean, it's for me. I'm always of the ilk of any given Sunday, to give a football analogy. It just might not be your day. So to have 50 days. Obviously with training and all that in between, it is a feat to me that at least puts you in the great category. Now, I agree with you as far as cherry picking. That's always been. I don't think outside of Ricky Hatton and Zab Judah, I don't know who he's fought that that I felt like gave him a fair shake at it.
He fought
You know
Manny late,
saying?
man. He fought Manny like 4 years
a lot of
later
people
than
would
he
say,
should.
Lately, yeah.
Because a lot of people would say, like, I've heard people like bring up Victor Maidana, like, stop. Nobody thought that Victor Maidana was going to beat Floyd Mayweather. Like, I know they gave him a second fight because he just had so much vigor in his approach to the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody believed that Victor Maidana was going to beat Floyd Mayweather. There was you don't make a bad point, but I think I just stand that 50 good nights is 50 good nights.
But he's fast.
Yeah.
He could have been a track runner.
And April, when you said you stopped watching boxing, all I could think about is the McGregor fight, where that was just more about, getting the bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost like WWE or something like that. Like it stopped being real for me. And when it stopped being real, I was just like, well, I'm not as interested. That's why I can't tell you about very many of the new fighters, because I just stopped being interested. And
who's in your top 5 as far as like boxers all time?
It's hard.
Let's get right to it.
And if you ask me another day, I may have some different answers.
Yeah, that's all right.
But Muhammad Ali,
mm-hmm.
because not just because of what he did in the ring, but because of who he was outside of the ring. And I think that it's so important to have those holistic sports figures or whatever.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali, Iron Mike Tyson. You gotta give it to that man.
Yeah.
Just like what he
Iron
was able to do at such a young age, his power, all of the things. Sugar Ray Leonard, gotta give it to Ray, his style, just all of that. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, gotta give it to Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And I do think there was a controversial fight between Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. I believe Hagler won that fight. That's just my opinion. And I was stuck between Pernell Whitaker and B-Hop, but I gotta go to Philly. I gotta take it to Philly with Bernard Hopkins. I love B-Hop.
Okay.
Love that. Thoughts on the list, Maestro?
Look, I'm gonna take Pernell Whitaker before almost anybody. I just got finished watching Tommy Hearns this morning. So Tommy Hearns is on my list for sure. Sugar Ray for sure.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali is Muhammad Ali. That's just that. And I'll round it off with Mike Tyson, but that's just because I wasn't expecting to be asked. I wasn't expecting Trey to ask me, so that's off the rip. That's my list. But you can't leave Muhammad Ali off the list, and unless you one of those real in-depth, the ins and outs, and really like you fought fights before. Like I can't really see anybody that leaves Muhammad Ali off of boxing.
Yeah. Even if you didn't see him live, right? Like even if you didn't see him live, you could still.
Unfortunately, fortunate enough for me, and obviously I wasn't old enough to see Muhammad Ali, but YouTube is a thing, man.
Yeah,
and anybody who can, and I can at least comprehend boxing without knowing all the super ins and outs of it. And Muhammad Ali is Muhammad Ali without everybody having to tell me that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, you got folks that'll say, "Hey, I didn't grow up watching this guy, so."
Well, that's different. But normally that's a football, basketball list, and which would make sense because you can't watch every single football or basketball game from a player. But I can see the majority of Muhammad Ali fights on YouTube. Majority of them.
Sure. And to kind of counteract that, you could do the same thing with basketball and football if you got 2.5 if you got 2.5 hours, that is.
Well, it hits a little different though because there's 82 games in a season. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get to see you don't get to see when they only scored 15 and shot 8 for 20, 8 for 45 or something crazy. You didn't see his energy there. They only show a lot of times on YouTube highlights, and if you watch 2.5 hours of a game, you watch that one game, and the ad, not to kind of go into a rabbit hole. YouTube only shows the good basketball games. You know, the ones where that player, the games where that player went off. The games where that player went off. So, you know, like a lot of times when you're talking about a Michael Jordan, if you type a Michael Jordan game, you definitely going to see
you're going to get all the best.
Bulls versus Jazz game 6.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to get them games. So, you know, it's a little different for boxing. I have watched win and lose the majority of Muhammad Ali's fights on YouTube. So I can gauge that why he's the greatest, why he's considered the greatest.
Yeah. Yeah. April, you know more boxing than I do.
I don't believe it.
I'm not shy in saying that. I will say that that's a great list to have. And as a casual watcher of boxing, and this is just a Brooklyn thing for me. But I like Zab, you know, kind of coming up as you know, as he was coming up. I thought in that fight against Mayweather that he had him, you know, several times. That's the one fight that people bring up and say, ooh, that would have been the one L on his resume was to Zab Judah.
Right. Well, I don't know. Well, also another fight we didn't talk about, Felix Trinidad, rest in peace. Felix Trinidad. Rest in peace. That was another one. That was another one. Yeah, that was another one he had, you know, early in his career where he had a time.
Yeah,
he had a time.
For sure. Hey, so April, I'm glad you're here. I wanted to bring this up and pay some homage to Angie Stone. May she rest in peace.
Yes.
And I saw the video of the crash, and it's disappointing and it's sad.
Hold on, they showed the video online.
So, quick story. So, some dude who actually drove on that highway somehow took a video of the crash. I don't know what the purpose was. I don't know, but he did say that he didn't know that it was Angie Stone in the vehicle until I guess the news broke that that's what happened to her, and then he kind of went back, and I was like, oh snap! I drove past the crash, and he decided to post the clip of the video anyway. But yeah, it's sad stuff. And actually, she was coming from, it was her and I think 9 of the band members, and they were driving to Baltimore for the CIAA tournament to do a halftime show. Yeah. So, being that you know, you worked in radio all these years, I know you run across several different musical acts throughout your career. I was curious if you had an Angie Stone story, if you ever met her in person or.
So I interviewed Angie Stone over the phone. I never met her in person, but I can speak about just her and her music, what she meant. Like, I really feel that there are a few people left who are the last bastions of soul music. You have R&B, but the soul is that when somebody opens their mouth, they make you feel it. And Angie Stone was real, and it came through every note, every lyric, everything that she sang. And what I also loved about her is that song that she made called Brother. That is the Black man's anthem. And it came at a time when Black men really needed it. And it uplifted and it empowered Black men. And I know because as a radio personality, it was one of the most requested songs. Like everybody calling up, asking to hear Brother. And that song will never die. And neither will Angie, because she will live through her music. Just
timeless song.
Spirit and a pioneer. Like she was a hip hop pioneer.
Hip hop artist, Angie B.
Yeah, you know. So
Yep.
Really sad to see her go.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Maestro.
You know, you know, I love Angie Stone. I mean, I guess my first introduction to her was the Rain in the Clouds, No More Rain in the Clouds.
The Black Diamond album.
Black Diamond album, but then I grew to love her, you know, through the, you know, obviously the Brother, and that album that had the Ingredients of Love and the joint with Clark Hagen's More Than a Woman. Like I got everything from Black Diamond to now of Angie Stone. I have a copy of somewhere, not on, you know, Spotify, but a CD somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Excellent. I mean, back when she was singing background vocals for D'Angelo, and like just
yeah.
a musician, an artist, a legend. I guess there's a story going around. People posted videos of her talking about how her group was the first gold the first gold record in hip hop history, but they kind of get overshadowed for whatever reason. I'm not sure what the reasons are.
Right.
But a staple in not just neo soul, but music. Period. I to this day, I've only heard one person redo the Lucchini beat, and I like it. And it was Angie Stone.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the song. Yeah.
Lovers Ghetto, I think it's called. That's the only sample or redo, and I know Lucchini was a sample, but that's the only redo that I ever liked. Her version.
Yeah, every time a legend passes away, there's always something that I don't know about that person. So I just decided to kind of look through her catalog, and I didn't know about Vertical Hold, the group that she was in. In the early to mid 90s. They put out a couple of albums, and there's a track on that. I think it's the second album called "Seems You're Not Too Busy These Days," and I was like, oh snap! Like she really was, kind of in her bag, all this time, and even kind of, way before that. Great songwriter. I mean, the pen, the pen is, it's crazy. It's one of those ones for sure. I did want to highlight some of her contributions to television and movies as well. Fighting Temptations. She was great in that movie. Did the theme song for one of the longest running black sitcoms in history, and Girlfriends.
Yeah, Girlfriends, yeah.
Yep. And she guest appeared in some other sitcoms, One on One, just to name a few. Rest in peace to Angie Stone.
For sure.
We lost a great one.
Love and condolences to the family and the other band members as well.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what's confirmed there, but prayers out to those families affected, for sure there. But April, this was fun.
It was. I enjoyed you guys.
Yes, this is a great time.
And we appreciate that love the other day too. Well, I guess it was a while ago, but you tap in with us every now and again, and we appreciate it.
Hey,
I had my girl Liz on. I love Liz Robbins. That's my boo, my sister from very many years ago. And so when I saw her on, I had to share it because I support her, and what you guys do is very, very cool. I can't tell too much, but I'm working on something with a client, and we are looking for content, and I would really love to talk to the guys of Barbershop Sports Talk, because what you do is amazing.
Oh,
thank you.
Appreciate
that.
Hey, Maestro, we was on the flat screen. Like we was on her flat screen in the living room.
Front and center in my living room.
That's huge. That's huge.
I'm only used to I'm only used to seeing it on my screen.
Well, April, just let everybody know where they can, find you at on social media, and then if there's anything else that you got coming up, please share with the audience.
Okay, you can find me on social media at April Watts Live. That's Instagram. I don't do X. Sorry, I just don't.
We don't even call it X.
It's still Twitter to me. It's still Twitter,
X, whatever. I don't do that. So you can find me on TikTok at April Watts Live, Instagram at April Watts Live, and Facebook still at April Watts Live. Yep. That's about it. Because the thing that I'm working on is really big. I can't talk too much about it, but you'll see. Follow me on social media and you will see soon.
Okay. Well, you got the number. So whenever that thing is ready to pop off,
I'm gonna call y'all tomorrow. I'm calling y'all tomorrow.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
All right.
Love and respect. Thank you, and we will see you in the internet streets.
Yes, in these internet streets, baby.
All right, April. Take care.
All right, take care.
All right, y'all. All right. That was great stuff right there by the one and only April Watts, folks. Legend in this radio game here in the area, whether you're in Baltimore or in DC. She's been, at it for about 20 plus years in the game. So, great stuff by her for sure, man.
For sure. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. I wanted to talk Kyrie Irving because I watched that last night and I feel so bad for him, man. Given what the team has gone through in the last month with the Luka trade, they get Anthony Davis, he can't play, and now Kyrie is out for the year with a torn ACL. And with guys like that are and I don't want to call Kyrie short, but with guys in that stature with ACLs, in their 30s, because he's what, 33, 34, 33. Something like that.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know how he can come back and be the same Kyrie, after rehab and going through all that. So I pray that that's not the end for him. But I do, wish him well, get well soon, speedy recovery, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Get well, man. I didn't see the injury, but you
don't want to see it
for you. Yeah, don't worry, I ain't gonna look. Get well soon, Kyrie. Get back. Because look, man, I won't speak about how I feel he's gonna be when he comes back. But I mean, look, I really felt like before Anthony Davis got injured that this could be a finals team. Healthy, like they could possibly go to the finals. To go from that trajectory to where they are now was certainly disappointing. For the Mavericks, but like you said, you kind of just hope that everybody gets it together and gets healthy, and then you try again. You try again next year, man. Also, while we on basketball, I don't know if we got to talk about this last week or not, but I'm gonna bring it back up. Greg Popovich is definitely not coming back this year. And they're talking about this possibly being it for him. And I know we talked about recently, like, he got De'Aaron Fox, he got Wembanyama. Like, this dude might coach another 4 or 5 years to see if he can get another chip on his way out. Right. Going close to 80 years old. But get well soon, Popovich.
For sure.
I would love to see Greg Popovich get another finals on his way out.
Yeah, I would love to too. I just think when you combine 76 years old with coming off of a stroke that massive and missing the whole season on top of that, I find it hard to believe that he's going to coach another 4 or 5 years. Can I see him coming back next season? Absolutely. I could see him coming back next season, maybe for one last go round. And then,
I'm sorry, but that's not that. I hear you, but that's just not going to be enough because he's going to have to develop Wembanyama. Like, Wembanyama going to have to play at an MVP level for this to even be a real thing. And I know a lot of people predict him being an MVP in this league in the next 2 to 3 years. Well, unfortunately, that means can he do it without Popovich? I don't know, but I
think he can.
It would certainly be easier having the likes of a Greg Popovich.
Of course. I guess I'm basing it off of history when you see guys like, go like the favorite to win MVP this year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, that dude, I don't want to say he bounced around, but he was with the Clippers and then he ends up in Oklahoma City as, not only the best player on the team, but the best player in the league.
Yeah, and not to say, it is different, but he went into a situation where there was a need for his type, for his skill set. Right. Wembanyama is a freak of nature. You know what I'm saying? So this can go really good, or it could be Bo. No disrespect to Bo. You know what I'm saying? Bo is of Wembanyama's skill set. I just think he don't have the proper coaching around him.
The desire, I'd say more so desire than anything.
I don't know. Well, I don't know that it's desire. Well, you know what? You're right. it could possibly be
it's desire.
a focus issue, and you know what I'm saying, that type
and that's
of
been
thing.
said by multiple coaches.
I know. That's why I took it back and kind of agreed with you. But I tell you one, I don't think he would have. I don't think, and obviously I wouldn't know, but I don't think he would have them type of issues being coached by the likes of a Greg Popovich, because I think Greg Popovich from inception would have put him in a position to be Wembanyama. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
I mean, it's just
I agree with that.
Coaching. All I'm saying is that coaching matters when you have somebody of that ilk. 7'6", 7'7". Can shoot,
I agree with that. I think two things can be true at the same time.
Sure.
Coaching makes a difference in the NBA.
You gotta want
no doubt about it. You gotta want it, and I think sometimes your skill and your talent can overcome who's coaching you. I mean, we've seen that with plenty of all-time greats.
I think we've seen more instances where players haven't lived up to their potential because of who they were. I think we've seen more players not live up to their potential than we have seen, but they're so good that it don't matter who coaches them.
Yeah, right. Like, I believe, like, if not for Derrick Rose's injuries, he would have still been a great point guard without Tom Thibodeau. Like, I truly believe that he would have went somewhere else and, been Derrick Rose if not for the injuries.
Okay. I'm not saying yes or no. I just know he's been well coached since Calipari. So,
it's just an example. Just an example thrown out there. I think Wemby will be okay. I think his skill set, will outweigh whoever becomes the successor to Greg Popovich. And not for nothing, if Becky Hammon is back in the fold as far as coaching in the NBA, I would not mind seeing that. I know that was the thing that was talked about when she was there assistant-wise.
Do you think the Spurs can eventually be a championship team in the next 5 years without Greg Popovich?
In the next 5 years, yes, I believe that. I could believe that. And you got to remember, we're in this era where, and look, the Celtics got to prove it if they, want to be a dynasty. They got to prove it this year. There's no dynasties in this era of basketball right now. I think we'll see what Denver has in store, because I do think the Nuggets this year are a threat to win the whole thing. But there's about, I think, 6 other teams. Like, it's wide open this year again. I think. I mean, the Celtics deserve to be the favorite. They are the champs. You give them that respect, but I like how Denver looks this year. I like how the Lakers, this new version of the Lakers looks, but I still think they need a big.
They number two in the West.
They number 2 in the West right now.
Yeah.
They number 2. And you can also credit that to Memphis. They've had some bad losses. They've had 3 losses in a row at home. The Knicks beat them the other night. They lost on a buzzer beater to the Hawks last night. And then you got that young Rockets team that was kind of up in the standings for much of the beginning of the season. They've kind of, faltered a little bit. I think they're number 5 or 6 right now. And then you can't count the Warriors out, because with Jimmy Butler, and I got the game on right now against the Knicks. What are they, 8-1 with Jimmy Butler, since they got him? So can't count that team out, because they got the chips, they got the they got the resume,
the moxie, sure.
They got it right. You got to respect that in a 7-game series. You got to respect that.
Yeah, I guess so, because nobody scares me in the West, so I agree with that.
It's open. It's open. I think Oklahoma City is vulnerable.
I don't even believe Oklahoma City. So, if you're telling me that, if we're talking about the finals, let's be clear. I'm not saying they're a bad team. No, that would be,
of course. Yeah.
If you're telling me in the West, who I believe has the best chance of going to the finals out of the 8 teams, and this is random. This is random. Me freestyling. and I won't take long. I'm just gonna put up. I just want to put up the standards real quick.
Yep. I'm pulling the standards up right along with you.
Man, you must have read my mind before I thought it in my own. Because look, here's what I'll say that may or may not be a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
With Ime Udoka at coach, I give the Rockets a better chance of going to the finals than the Thunder.
Okay. Now, obviously, things have to kind of play itself out. Like you got to be in the Western, obviously in the conference finals, and you would have had to have, if you're Ime Udoka, you would have had to have gone through the likes of a LeBron James, a Golden State.
I'm just talking about probability. Without just look at I ain't talking. I obviously don't know who's going to play who. I'm just talking about from coaching to players, what I've seen on the floor, and you trust. I haven't locked in yet, even though I told you I was about.
When you gonna lock in, man?
Maybe this week. I don't know.
Come on,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Playoffs.
Last week, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm getting old, bro. I'm getting old, bro. And I'm actually about to I might have to start changing that because I might be getting some at night activity in the next. You know what I'm saying? But I tried to watch the game. Right? I tried to watch a game last week. It was like a Tuesday. It might have been a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday or Thursday night. Mm-hmm. And I cut the game on, got in my bed, got comfortable. Worst mistake ever. If I'm actually going to try and watch something, I can't go to my bed and try to watch it. It's not going to work.
Nah.
It's not going to work.
It's couch work, man.
Yeah, right. So I tried it, and it failed miserably. By the time I woke up, it said live event has ended, and it just was what it was. But But to the conversation of the Western Conference, out of the 10 teams in the playoffs, play-in, etc. Okay, I got the Lakers, Denver, Golden State, Houston. At least 4 more teams that I would give a better chance of going to the finals right now than Oklahoma City.
Okay. Yeah, the Rockets, they got the coach. There's experience there. There's a resume there with the coach. Lakers, that's LeBron. We know what that is with Luka. The Nuggets won a chip a couple years ago. The Warriors got, pedigree. Jimmy Butler has that dog in him, the pedigree right there. I mean, honestly,
I mean, do you think the Clippers could walk them down?
I was just about to mention them in Minnesota. Like, I'm looking at those teams. Like, I might pick the Timberwolves in a series over OKC.
Because as much as you like, and look, as much as you like and like SGA, and I like him too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Good, solid basketball player. I don't know. This might be me, this might be me tripping. It's
more of a you gotta believe it, you gotta see it to believe it kind of a thing.
He's a good basketball player, a great basketball player, but it's something about Anthony Edwards, bruh. It's something about Anthony Edwards. It's something about Steph Curry. It's something about even Joker in some respects. Because he's not like the super athletic jump over the, jump out the gym type of person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's something about these
Jamal Murray. Players. I think you gotta put Jamal Murray kind of in that list. Because when Jamal gets it going,
I'm really talking about star versus star. But I'm really talking about star versus star. If it's a SGA versus LeBron James, taking LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? If it's SGA, and I know it don't always come down to just that one-on-one, especially because they don't play the same positions. But I'm just like your team and leader versus my team and my leader. I'm taking LeBron over SGA. I'm taking Anthony Edwards over SGA. I'm taking Steph over SGA. Like I just am.
If the Thunder lose a series in these playoffs, for me, it's gonna be because of inexperience. Yeah, and that inexperience. In comparison to the teams that we just, listed, those teams have experience, even if they've been kind of tweaked in some way, shape, or form over the last couple of years.
Look, let's be clear. Jimmy Butler got experience, so
right.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard. Last time I checked, Kawhi, even though he's not the Kawhi of old, if he gets it going and decides, yo, I want to turn up like I'm in Toronto, the Clippers are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
What I will say is about the rest of that Thunder team, they got size, bro. And you
said
always, size.
Gotcha. Okay.
Size.
I was about to put this whole
podcast
on pause, nigga. I thought you said thighs. That's why I was confused. I was like, what?
You thinking about that late night appointment that you got coming up?
Bruh, I was like, what did you just say to me?
You're thinking about a few nights from now. I see where you're going.
I don't even know if I got that lined up, but it was just on my mind because in my newfound journey, I've been going to bed, bruh.
Oh, I know.
I know. So I ain't.
You an old man. I know.
Yeah, bro. So this. I know. Yeah, but
I'm waiting for the cane to come out, man.
Nah. I'm trying to tell you, dog. I'm telling you, dog. When I'm down to 210, 210 pounds.
All right.
Hey.
All right. Hey, I'm trying to get down to 210, bro.
Yeah.
Like I was just on the squat machine the other night and on the treadmill, so I'm trying to get there.
I get that squats is a part of exercise, but I'm uncomfortable with you telling me that you was squatting on the machine.
Man, cut it out, man.
I'm just uncomfortable, bro.
Cut it out, yo.
Just tell you how I feel, bro.
Man. Hey, but yeah, they, Chet Holmgren, and look, I get these guys as young, but Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, like, to have to go up against that in the paint, like, that's going to be a problem for some teams that don't got the size equivalent to that, know. So if they end up going to the finals, like, those are going to be X factors. Like, those two guys, Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, those guys are going to be X factors. And all around, they're a really good defense.
They're good defense, yeah, for sure.
Caruso is that kid Lou Dort. They could play defense, man. And I don't want to forget Jalen Williams can ball. Like, you talk about a Robin, like that's Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
He can.
But they still on and you. I don't disagree. You're right, but they just on the come up, bro. I like
they are.
They just on the come up, and as good as SG is playing, it still feels like he hasn't arrived as a superstar in the league yet. It feels that way. I get it. Point wise, he's there. Stat wise, he's there. You feel like he's the early MVP, running like the winner, and I can't disagree with you. But it still feel like he's on the come up. It still feel like he hasn't had that moment yet.
Has to get knocked down a few times.
Well, I just don't believe him yet. And maybe I don't believe him like that moment. It don't feel like he's had that moment where
I believe him. I believe in him. He's had those moments. Like, and yes, it's regular season. That's all we can go off of. But yeah, he's had those moments, and I believe he's not a dude that's gonna shy away from those pressure points.
Yeah, in
a playoff game. It's
Do you think? But how? But how? Not to cut you off, but to cut you off because you made an interesting point. But how would he not run from it? You get what I'm saying? Like, so there's two kinds of players. There's two kinds of players in my book in this kind of situation we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a guy who would thrive in just running through the offense because that's what his coach tell him to do and run through the offense. But there's also that guy that says, all right, I see what you want me to do, but this is what I need to do because I'm him. And I think that's why we respect the likes of LeBron James because, should we run a play? Yeah, maybe we should. But right now, I'm about to just pull up and shoot this three-pointer because that's what it looked like I need to do, and I'm LeBron James. Anthony Edwards is of the same ilk. You know what I'm saying? Them killers that, all right, there's a time to run the offense, and that's what you should do. Mm-hmm. But when the asses get tight, no homo, it's time for me to go do something. It's time for me to do something spectacular, and that's not always a play that's drawn.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Sure. And I don't know if SGA is that type of guy. And I'm saying I don't know. I'm not saying that's how I don't know.
Right. No, I got you.
I don't know if he's that guy based on how the offense runs and how it draws players towards him. If he's that guy because he could just do what he want when he want to do it.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely got game winners on his resume for sure. He can, I believe,
like, is he the type that just grab the ball off the inbound and just do what he want to do? Don't pass the ball once.
He's that guy.
Okay.
To me, he's that guy.
Okay.
And I think if you like 5 or 6 possessions in a row, bucket for bucket, yeah, he could do that.
Okay.
He can do that. I think.
Can he do that in a playoff situation if Anthony Edwards decide to play defense with him?
Sure. Well, Ant-Man. How tall is Ant-Man?
I'm sure he's tall enough to defend him. I don't think
defend SGA because
I don't know, like 6'6", 6'7".
SGA, yeah, I feel like he's got some, pause. He got some size up on Ant-Man. Not that he can't defend him,
right?
But I think if SGA decide, this is the matchup height wise, no, I'm gonna get mine.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like I said, we don't know. And we're gonna find out in the playoffs.
For sure, man. It's exciting, man. It's hoops, man. It's hoops month, man. I'm gonna fill out a bracket at some point whenever they, decide to rank these teams for this tournament. And I don't want to forget this. Shout out to South Carolina Gamecocks, Dawn Staley's team. They will be the number 1 seed in their tournament. Which is not a surprise.
Yeah,
it's funny because they actually they flipped a coin to see who was going to get the 1 seed between them and Texas, because Texas has had a great year also. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But shout out to the women for doing their thing. I'm going to be tuned into that tournament as well. You got anything else, or
I do not, man? I do not. Roll?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Big shout out to April Watts, the legend in the area here for sure. Appreciate her coming on to chop it up with us. And as always, to the fans and to the listeners and to the watchers.
By the way, Trey, I've been meaning to say this.
What's up?
We have to start eliminating that term, fans.
Okay.
I'm just saying, it's not as deep as
Oh, okay. It's not that deep. I think I was looking for you to expand a little more.
Well, I don't know, man. I just feel like shout out to the supporters. I don't know. I don't like this.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? I don't really care. I haven't been a fan. No pun intended.
Of being called fans
of the term fan. I don't know. Shout out to the supporters. Yeah, shout out to the supporters. Shout out to the listeners, man. And if you rock with us, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no doubt. And also continue to follow us on these social media platforms. We got the Facebook page, so make sure you click the like button on the Facebook page. We got the YouTube channel, so tell a friend to tell a friend to click that subscribe button and get in tune with us on YouTube. Got the Twitch channel as well. We're on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Also Maestro Styles at Maestro Styles everywhere else. On Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. You can find me also on Facebook and on Instagram at Trey Frazier. Many questions or comments, hit us up on the email at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And if you're listening on your streaming apps, whether it's iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, drop a review and let us know what you think about the show. It definitely goes a long way. And if nothing else, man, love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there. And we always close the show out this way. As always, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh yeah, we got him. Trey Frazier and Maestro Styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left some. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.